American artist Sarah Morris creates psychological portraits of her city with abstract paintings and films. An exhibition of her work and how she plays with color and geometry opens next week in Istanbul.
Sarah Morris paintings are known for their use of color as much as their virtual architecture. An exhibition in Istanbul is focusing on her paintings that explore states of equilibrium when they're challenged. The exhibit, called Hellion Equilibrium, explores these tipping points and how opposing forces and influences are balanced. Morris's films, like her paintings, are also about architecture. Her latest, Strange Magic, is also being shown at the exhibition. It looks at architect Frank Gehry's design for the Louis Vuitton Foundation in Paris. The exhibition will be held at the Didymart Art Gallery and will run from Tuesday until December the 4th.
I now have Sarah Morris with me in the studio to talk about her exhibition, Hellion Equilibrium. Hello and thank you for joining us on Showcase. So tell us about your exhibition that will start in Istanbul soon.
Yeah, my exhibition opens on Monday, and it's an exhibition of new paintings, several drawings, and a film that I shot in Paris 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. The movie is called Strange Magic. Tell us about it.
Well, it's titled in reference to Paris, and I was able to. I was invited to shoot a film. I was commissioned by the Louis Vuitton Foundation, perhaps in 2010, 2011, with an open invitation to respond to Paris and also their new building by Frank Gehry. And as I started to think about this invitation and everything that I could possibly do in relation to the city, I really wanted to treat the very ephemeral idea of the notion of luxury. And Louis Vuitton, of course, the company owns Veuve Clicquot, it owns Runart, it owns Christian Dior, it owns, of course, Louis Vuitton, etc. So I wanted to deal with also their production facilities, as well as the site of the Frank Gehry building. I shot Frank Gehry in his studio, and the film opens with him talking about the very little differences between business and art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're very, very influenced by cityscapes and urban life. And, what are your impressions of this city that we call home, Istanbul?
Well, I'm incredibly impressed, of course. The history is so, you know, from someone who's from America, which really has such a very recent history, if anything like, I mean, it does have a history, but it's sort of a non-history history, that Istanbul is very intriguing. Of course, this whole region is very intriguing, and at some point I would like to be able to film here, but I've been coming now for about 5 years, and each time I see a different facet.
Different facet, different layers.
Yeah, exactly.
How has studying philosophy affected the way you work and the way you think?
That's an impossible question to answer, but it's, I suppose everything starts with an idea and a sort of a desire to place oneself in a certain situation, to try to wrestle, not solve, because I don't think art can solve problems, but I think art can pose certain questions, similar to perhaps philosophy, so that's maybe where it started for me.
The first film you did was in 1998, and it was called Midtown. How has your filmmaking approach changed since then, or has it changed?
It really hasn't changed so much. I mean, I think the breadth of what I've tried to do has gotten more ambitious. The situations have become more ambitious. For instance, shooting in Beijing's stadium, Bird's Nest, on August 8th, 2008. during the Olympic openings or the cabinet room of the White House. But in principle, the structure, the methodology hasn't changed, which is I come up with a number of coordinates throughout a city in time and place of where I'd like to film. And whatever is happening at those places is captured. So in a way, I'm in control of the film, and in a way, I'm not. There's a lot that's improvised. Mm-hmm. So that really hasn't changed.
Sarah Morris, pleasure to have you on Showcase.
Thank you.